the two of us were.
Oh, it's not even like an inside joke. It's just that we are literally almost always late.
Yeah, true.
But it's usually not our fault. Like,
No.
There's just always something going on here.
Exactly.
But that kind of leads back to what I was talking about. We are both students here at the Ohio Media School, and we've been doing this show for, well, I've been doing it almost almost 6 months, and Josh's been doing it for 4 now?
4 or 5, yeah.
So we've been going into this for a while, and
I wish I had started from the beginning with you.
yeah, I mean, there was somebody else who was on, and she ended up she only does the program online now.
Yeah.
And ever since then, you've been doing it with me, and it kind of worked, because the original idea for the show, it was me and this girl who we were very different, and you could kind of slid right into her spot, because the thing with me and Josh is, we both like sports and stuff, but outside of that, we don't have a whole lot in common. He's younger than me. You're like 24. I'm 30.
Yeah.
Something or another. I don't remember anymore. And we just come from different backgrounds.
Right.
But anyways, now that I actually have us recording,
And the thing is, we might agree on a topic with something like that, but we might, even with our agreement, we might not see it the same way.
agreements within a disagreement.
I know.
But I usually like to start the show off. I was just kind of vamping there, honestly, because I forgot to press record. But I have everything recording now.
That improv, that is fun.
Yeah, well, it was crazy because I actually started right at 3, but I didn't have it set up. But we usually start off talking about our last week, and what's your week been like, bro?
Pretty standard.
Standard Josh week?
Yeah.
My week's been crazy, so I kind of want to give you a chance first.
So it was a standard Kramer week then for you?
I guess so. Not really, but...
Because it feels like every time you talk about your weekend, it feels like you're always coming in here and saying, yeah, my weekend was crazy, or my week was crazy.
I mean, they usually are, I guess, but this one's been particularly unique.
Well, yeah, because your granddaughter...
Yeah, my granddaughter had been born.
Yeah,
and
congrats again on that.
Well, she was just going into the hospital when we did our last show.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's born, been home for a couple days now. Kyra Jane, she was 6 pounds, 9 ounces, healthy birth, 10 fingers, 10 toes. I just like subtracted 5 on accident.
Yeah, although technically wouldn't it be 9 fingers? Because I don't think.
Well, there's no foot equivalent for a thumb, so I just feel like they all go together.
That's why I say 8 fingers and 10 toes, because the thumb, at least from what I've heard, the thumb is not a finger.
You know, I've always made fun of people with newborn babies who are like obsessed, and they're always, oh, look at these pictures of my babies. And now I'm one of those people. It's kind of funny, but
I love that.
What can you do? It's karma.
Yeah. But in terms of my weekend, I was at the Browns game this weekend, and unlike last year where they actually took away the fireworks and all the pyrotechnic shenanigans. And that was probably because of the reduced capacity, and they couldn't have.
Yeah, because they had a very reduced capacity last year. Is this your first football game you've gone to this year then?
No.
Oh, this isn't your first.
No, I went to the preseason game against.
Right, I remember.
Preseason game against the Giants.
I do remember.
And then the home opener against the Texans. And I'll get into more of the analysis tomorrow
on a different show.
On So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland. Tune in from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Nice little plug there. But, yeah, they brought the pyrotechnics back, so you can imagine how much I love that.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if it was your first game, so they didn't do it at the other games earlier in the year?
No, they did for the home opener, but not for the preseason game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, pretty much I feel like any sport event you go to at this point, they probably do. Is there any that doesn't do them?
When I've been to a Tigers game,
baseball.
Yeah, the Detroit Tigers, yep. They didn't do any fireworks or anything.
I mean, they don't do any at hockey, do they?
No.
I was going to say that'd be kind of strange.
Although, there is one exception to that.
What's that?
Up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, there's a team called the Calgary Flames. So they have flames that shoot out of like the jumbotron.
Oh, I mean that's kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah. I've never been to a Calgary Flames game though.
I worked a show on Friday, Friday. There was
Yeah,
a
I heard
concert.
about that.
Eric Church did a concert here at what I still call the Gund Arena, the Romo Fito.
That is the best name ever.
Yeah, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Yes.
And it was a job, man, let me tell you. I was there, I had to leave my apartment at 8 in the morning to get there in time. And then from the first shift, we worked till about 5 in the afternoon to get them set up. Left for a couple hours, came back, and then I was there until about 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Yeah, I left about 5 in the morning.
Taking down the site.
Taking down and packing everything back up. And
Wow.
then, the other part was that there's no parking for us that was close to it that's free. They had a free parking for us, but it was over in Tower City, and we had to get to the Q or Rocket. I always call it the wrong thing. Romo Fito.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Sometimes I can be very detail oriented and picky. I'll let you.
Well, it is technically the Romo Fito. So,
yeah, I'll let you fly.
Which is fine during the day because they have a gateway thing you can get through, but it was closed when I went out at night, so I had to walk all the way around downtown. It was a 45-minute walk to get back to my car.
Usually what happens what I've been doing with my buddies lately is we park in the Tower City parking lot. I think I know which one you're talking about. You go right up the escalators, you go past the food court.
Yep, that's it too. Because when I left, I actually ate at the food court the first time.
Every time I go to an event at the field house, I don't know if it's this way for you, but the food court's empty. Nobody.
Do you mean the food court in Tower City? Or
yes.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a lot of those stores aren't even open half the time.
Yeah. It was actually funny. So we go to a Monsters game last year. Monsters are the minor league hockey team.
Yes, sir.
With my buddies, and it was an afternoon game. So we go to a burger place, and then we're walking through Tower City. One of my buddies, Chris, he goes, "Let's go into GameStop." This is before the game, okay? He goes and buys UFC 4, my buddy Colin and I look at him dude, what are you gonna do with that during the hockey game?
That's a good question.
He ended up just sticking it in his pocket. Colin and I look at each other and we're what the heck?
Didn't think that through.
We're what the heck are you doing?
You know that's why they do that though. They want people to walk by through there, and just on that odd chance you might be oh, I want that.
I know, but it was just hilarious. And here's the funny thing. He ended up eventually giving that game to me.
Well, how about that? That's actually kind of nuts.
I know.
When
I thought you would enjoy that story though.
When I left, I stopped at Tower Pizza. It was one of the only 2 places open. And I actually got a shout out. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
They had a New York sliced pizza there. And, yeah, that was all right. But no, it's always empty there.
Do you ever? So I know you worked there setting up Eric Church's show on Friday, or it was Friday, right?
Yep.
Do you ever go there to actually attend Cavs games or?
Very rarely. The last time I went for a Cavs game was preseason a few years ago.
Or any type of event, really.
I mean, concerts, that's usually about it if I go there. And I'm trying to think, I think either the Cavs game a couple years ago or maybe a year after that, I went and saw Cirque du Soleil do a musical thing there that was really sweet. They were jumping around in the air playing guitars. But that was at least 3 years ago for my sister's birthday, and I haven't done something since then.
So you don't really go too?
No, a lot of it's since I came home from prison, I was dealing with panic attacks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting out more now, but the first year I didn't really go out at all.
Okay, that makes sense.
But normally, got a couple more minutes. Normally this is the point where I would jump to a quiz, and what I was doing for the longest time was I was doing pop culture quizzes, which I know Josh hated.
I don't hate them, it's just,
you've never gotten very many.
No, and that's not because I'm uncultured or anything.
Well, it's modern culture too. It's modern pop culture, so it's not really a bad thing.
Right, it's just, I don't really follow, that's not the type of thing I enjoy. For me, I want to get into on-air broadcasting once I leave OMS.
Yeah.
And either TV or radio, either one. But I don't want to get into the type of on-air broadcasting where it's like, oh my God, this celebrity's dating this celebrity.
But you'd be so good at it.
Have you seen this new fashion trend? Like, sorry, I don't care.
I want you to do an entertainment podcast just because it would be hilarious.
I mean, you and I did the Gate Show podcast. That went well.
So instead of doing a quiz this week, I actually picked up a personality quiz, and there's a bunch of questions on here. I figure we'll just kind of slowly go through it.
Okay.
But I just kind of want to compare like what we each answer on them. And if it's too personal, like you don't have to answer, but I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna try to be and none of them's like seriously personal, but I'm gonna be as open as I can to be.
Yeah, I'll try my best with that as well.
So the first question is, what has been your greatest accomplishment? And I'll just start off quick that I know for me, it has definitely been the past 2 years, just coming up on 2 years being clean, because really like everything else I have going on now wouldn't have happened without that. So for me, that's the most important one.
Yeah. That's such a tough one for me. I would have to say, as of right now, being able to sit through the Cavs pyrotechnics during their player introductions, I think it was last year against San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we're up against commercial break, but I'll do one more. Okay. What has been your greatest failure? That's real easy for me again. 4 times in prison that I'm not real proud of, but I've been working back from it. And Josh, you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. That's a hard one.
That is a hard one. I mean, I don't know. There's things that are more personal. I'm not going to say on the radio, but for me, like that's the one that came to mind.
Right, I get that. I'm trying to think, cause yeah, I've had bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah.
I have to think about that one.
Well, we gotta go to break anyways, and we don't do commercial breaks here. I play local music, so when we go to break, you're gonna hear from Salt Hill doing Covet Master, and then we will be right back after just a few minutes. And when we come back, it's U.S. News. We are going to be talking about a scuffle that happened over some masks at a local school board. Not a local, I'm sorry, but a school board. And the Brian Laundrie case and Gabby Petito missing has a new interesting twist in it, as well as some former presidents are up to some stuff. All right?
It always seems like former presidents are up to
Former presidents are always up to stuff.
I love it.
Anyways, we will be
right back.
The computer's having like, I love when it does this. There we go.
All right.
Right back. Welcome back,
Mr. Cotter.
You want to go like a whole throwback? I've done that in a few episodes.
I know. I was thinking about that.
So there was a question you had that was kind of interesting. You could almost say it's a personality question. You asked me earlier. Why don't you go ahead and shoot it on the show?
So I got this idea because we've talked about this. Lately, there have been a lot of Jewish holidays. We had Rosh Hashanah, we had Yom Kippur, which are the two like high holidays, and then we just finished off Sukkot, which is the Jewish holiday that has to do with the harvest and that type of stuff. So it got me thinking about something. If you could say that tomorrow, Wednesday, September 29th is a holiday, what would that holiday be?
Oh, wait. Now you got me confused. I thought the question was, what was your favorite holiday?
No.
Oh, man. If I could make up my own holiday?
Correct.
All right, you go ahead. Now I got to think about it again.
This is easy for me. Lemurs are one of my favorite animals. I don't know.
That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I love lemurs. So I would go with National Lemur Day, because I don't think people know enough about lemurs.
All right, so I could go two different ways with this now that I think about it. Seeing what I said earlier, I could always go with a Kyra Jane Day.
Yeah.
Because I definitely feel like she deserves a day. But I'm going to take the grandpa out of me, and I'll just go ahead. And since you went animal, I'm going to go animal. I think cats they don't get enough respect. So I'm going to have a homeless cat awareness day.
Homeless cat?
Yeah. So like for cat shelters and stuff to be able to give away.
I love that.
Yeah, because I'm actually like a giant-hearted guy when it comes to animals. I love animals.
Same.
We have 4 cats, and each and every one of them, was a rescue. One was we actually got from a place, and the other 3 were from the street. But they were all rescues, and I just feel bad for cats when I see them on the street.
Yeah. Something funny that we do at Camp Wise, which again, not the Camp Wise, sleepaway camp.
Isn't that technical difficulty camp?
That's just a chant that we do when something's not quite going right. It's just fun. But like during lunch and dinner, campers will go up on the stage and do like skits and stuff. And one of the skits they'll do is like they'll do this staff member appreciation day.
Right on.
So that was funny. I actually got that treatment a couple times.
You got the Josh Unger Appreciation Day?
Yes, I did.
Josh Poison Unger?
All right. Okay, so what about this one? So you have 4 cats, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you ever do like an appreciation day for one of them?
Oh, no, because then all the other ones would feel left out.
No, I mean like for all 4 of them.
Let's do a day for them. No, they don't deserve a day. Honestly, I love my cats. They're great cats, but they're also all jerks at the same time.
See, with me, I like to do the thing where it's like I have 2 dogs, so I do. One of them is named Remy, the other is Comet. So for one day, I do Remy Appreciation Day, and then the very next day, I turn around and I do Comet Appreciation Day.
No, but I will say, I don't know how we got into this either, but it's fine, it's funny.
I like it.
I will tell you this, with my cats, I have a weird thing that I'm kind of OCD about, where I feel like if I pet one a certain amount of time, I have to go and pet all the other ones the same amount of time. I don't like to leave any of them left out.
That is really interesting, but it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Not really, but in my head it does.
In Jeremy's world, it makes sense.
Talking about people who only have things make sense in their head, Mr. Trump says that he's coming back again for a 2024 election.
Yay?
Yeah, no, yay.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah, well, in the past couple weeks, he has really been putting himself into politics. He's still banned from Twitter, thankfully, but he has sent out a bunch of angry tweets through people that will post tweets for him. So he works his way around it. And he's also started to do rallies again. That's the big story, is that October 9th, he has a giant rally planned at Iowa State, and it's a Make America Great and an earth-shattering win for 2024 rally. That's a long name. That's literally the name of the rally. That was 10 words.
Give me the name of the rally again.
Make America Great Again and call for an earth-shattering win in November 2024. Whew, that's a lot to try to stand.
Don't try and say that again.
And then he goes on back with his whole, and don't think we forgot 2020 was stolen. We're gonna get the people who stole the election.
He still believes in that conspiracy?
Him and 10 other people. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because even most of the Republicans, the people who should be saying that, are like, no, we lost. It's okay, we lost. You lose sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
You win some, you lose some.
I don't think anybody ever told Trump that.
Just excuse me, accept it and move on.
Speaking of another former president, though, were you a fan when he was in office? I think we've talked about this before, of Mr. Obama.
Yes, I did. I really liked Obama.
I did too. I voted twice for him.
My first election was 2016, so I wasn't able to vote in 2008 or 2012, but the reason I liked Obama was not necessarily because of his policies, but he just kind of felt like a normal
Everyday guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved when teams who won a championship in their respective sport would go to visit him because, like, he would just make fun.
Yeah, I thought he was the kind of dude that was like, you'd see him in a bar having a beer.
Yeah.
I
didn't think
and
of
it's not even about like the drink, but just about like he's an everyday guy.
Exactly. So you view him the same way I did.
Yeah, I like Obama, man. I've never really gotten excited for politics, and he got me excited to vote in 2008. And
Yeah.
I just turned 18 in 2007, so that was my first big election.
Okay.
And it really got me involved.
Gotcha.
But he's having some issues. People in Chicago are pretty angry at him apparently
For what?
because he's spending the state of Chicago is spending $500 million to make a Obama Presidential Center inside Chicago.
Obama Presidential Center, you
Yes,
said?
the Obama Presidential Center. Following 5 years of legal battles, Barack and Michelle are expected to do the groundbreaking Tuesday. Apparently this just got passed through that they can do it.
Okay.
So they're going to do the groundbreaking Tuesday at the construction site of the Obama Presidential Center in Jackson Park on Chicago's South Side. I have to ask one of our teachers about that. I just realized we have a teacher in Chicago who teaches remotely.
Oh, yeah, we do. You're right.
Because I'm not sure exactly where that's at, but yeah, somewhere in Chicago they're planning on making this. And they're just saying that like a lot of people in Chicago are coming out and protesting, even people who are fans of Obama, basically because we're in the middle of a pandemic and he's wanting $500 million spent on this thing that's like basically a giant tribute to him.
Yeah. So basically what I'm getting from this is that it would be like almost a memorial.
Yeah, I'm reading through this trying to figure out exactly what he wants to put in it. It doesn't really say. Other presidents, though, have made things like this. Well, they'll have presidential centers, and what they'll do is they'll put things like all from out their term in the office, like the chair they used in the Oval Office, they'll put it on display. So it's like a museum for that presidency.
Mm-hmm.
But Obama tried to defend it, saying that they're going to use it also to do a lot of good for the community. He didn't say how. He just said that he is absolutely confident that he can use it to benefit the community. So we'll see how that turns out. I just kind of thought it was interesting. I don't see Obama in the news too much anymore. And then I saw it for that, I was kind of surprised.
Right. I actually went to Obama's website to read about it, and under where it says Obama Presidential Center, it says the Obama Presidential Center represents a historic opportunity to build a world-class museum and public gathering space that celebrates our nation's first African-American president and first lady on the south side of Chicago.
I mean, and the thing is, it was a moment in history that needs to be remembered. I just think the issue is the amount of money that gets spent on these things. And if you look at all the other presidents, because George Bush I know has one, and some of the older presidents, they spent just as much money. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So we're talking about like monuments and all that. I know that Jefferson has a memorial in D.C., Lincoln does, obviously George Washington. I don't think there's any other presidents that I can think of.
There might be more, but those are all the ones that are like the bigger, more famous ones.
Who do you think will be the next president to get some type of monument or memorial in D.C.?
That's a good question. There is a JFK one already, isn't there? John Kennedy?
I don't know.
If there's not, I'm surprised, and I would think that would be next. But if there is already one, I feel like after JFK, there was no like real great president. They were all okay, but great.
Yeah, I don't know if Kennedy has a memorial or anything in D.C.
You know who won't have a memorial?
Trump.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Right.
He will most definitely not have a memorial there.
No.
But he is getting himself involved in a case we talked about last week Gabby Petito, the missing girl, that's kind of all over the news. And the issue now is they've actually found her body, which is sad. They did find her body. She passed. But they're looking for the boyfriend that was with her, and he's in hiding.
Right, we talked about this in the Kramer files last week.
And, well, now Dog the Bounty Hunter says he's going to find him. And there is a video of him just, like, showing up at the parents' house, banging on the door, like, hey, Dog, let me in. And, yeah, they don't answer the door. Of course they don't answer the door.
Would you?
No, I'm not going to answer the door. I just thought it was funny. Like, Bog the Bounty Hunter. Bog the Bounty Hunter is getting himself involved with this.
I liked what you were saying off mic when we were in class earlier, like, maybe the boyfriend and Dog are, like,
in their cahoots.
Yes.
I just feel like it'll be great. It'll be hilarious if he's the one that catches the dude. I almost hope for that. It would be good for me as a media person.
Yeah. So my mom is actually texting me, so she's listening to the show. She's saying that part of the Obama Center will just be green space, like a park. And she also said MLK was the last one to get a memorial of some type in D.C.
I don't know. I'm going to have to keep thinking about that because, like I said, if JFK doesn't have one, I feel like him, but if not, I don't think there's been any great president, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Since JFK.
I get that.
Well, we are going to take another quick break. When we come back, it is time for local news, and Josh sent me a couple stories, including one that we talked about before, but there's an update on it, an emu that went missing, and also some crazy stuff going on with Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson, his grandson, and we also have that story I was going to get to today about a scuffle over the mask, or in this segment. I'll get to in the next segment. So hang around for all that. I'm going to play another Black Hour by the band Shadow Puppet, a real short song, and then we will be right back. Right back. Maybe.
Perhaps.
There we go.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back
Mr. Connor.
to everybody but the bug that we just kicked out of the studio.
At least we hope we kicked you out.
Actually, I made Josh kick it out because I'm not a fan.
Yeah, you did.
Dude, I don't know what my deal is with bugs. Like, I feel bad killing them, but then I don't really like them being around, so I'm at a loss when it comes to bugs.
Yeah, I get that.
So like at my house, I'll literally take bugs with, like you were just saying, like a piece of paper towel, and I'll take them outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Josh, for handling the bug emergency.
Yes. Hopefully,
It might have fallen right back in, but at least it's not on. Like literally, as soon as I went to commercial break, this bug flew at me, dive bombed into my computer, and then Josh saved me.
Yes, I did.
You saved my life, basically. I mean, you should probably, the next grandkid I have, I should probably name Josh.
Okay.
So Jane, so you know.
Okay.
Saved my life. Talking of saving people's life, some people would say that masks save life. Some people would say they don't. And it's a fight right now that's going on all over the country, not only among adults, but among students and their parents. More parents than anything, though.
Okay.
There was a particular board meeting I'm talking about, and it was in East Carver Schools, which is in Victoria, which is Virginia. But they updated a plan, and this it's a good example of what's going on with schools all over the country, where because the government's kind of recommending masks but not requiring them, each school is having to make their own decisions.
Right.
And there's a lot of arguments over that, a lot of disagreement. So,
of course,
what this particular school did was they decided they're going to make everybody wear a mask through November 1st. Because then they're like, oh, well, look at what's going on then. Basically, they're kicking the ball down the street for a while.
Right.
But just doing that made 7 people get into a giant fight at the school board the next night.
Why? Why?
Because people are crazy, man. And what ended up happening was they had the meeting the next day. The board members, like 7 of them wore masks. One of the board members didn't even wear a mask. And then there were people showing up without masks, basically freaking out and yelling and screaming, which turned into an issue because nobody wanted to be in the room with them. It's a mess, and this is going on all over. That's kind of my point with this, is that this has been going on in some Ohio schools. This has been going on all over the country, and it's because there's no clear guidance anymore, which is really kind of a problem.
Yeah, 100% it is.
So how do you feel about masks?
I think they should be in.
I'm kind of with you if you're going where I think so. I feel like, I'll say it, I feel like they should be enforced.
Yeah.
It's either enforce them or say they don't work.
Right. The problem is, like, some places you are forced to wear masks.
Yeah.
And then other places, certain sports teams will just say, yeah, we'll just encourage them.
And even when you're supposed to wear them, with that job I did Friday at Romo Fijo, they have a mask policy in effect. It says everywhere you required to wear masks, and half the people didn't have them on, and they don't do anything. I just think it's a rough time right now. My girlfriend goes through it with their store, people not wanting to wear masks in there. That if they would just mandate something and just say, you either have to wear them or you don't, and not just be so wishy-washy.
Right, there shouldn't be a middle ground, at least with this particular issue.
No, there should not. That's a little bit of frustration going on in the world, at least a happy story, one happy story for today. An emu. We had talked about this a couple weeks ago when this emu was out on the run. Well, over in Willoughby Hills, a local police department search for that loose emu in Northeast Ohio is now over. They came to Facebook last Wednesday to say that the emu, who, if you didn't know, is a flightless bird native to Australia that kind of looks like a giant ostrich, they found the bird. And they not only found the bird, but they were able to reunite it with its owner.
Yay!
This reminded me of a story I heard over the weekend. I like to watch this show on YouTube called The Infographic Show. And
I've heard of that show.
It's a real good YouTube channel. But I was watching one where they were talking about a guy who owned a tiger. He lived in Brooklyn, New York, and he kept a tiger cub in his bathroom until it grew to full size, like 400 pounds and giant.
So you're saying he's Tiger King?
That's who I'm talking about, basically. Well, they call him the Tiger King of Brooklyn. But yeah, another interesting, you just made me remind me. They're making a Tiger King too.
What? Why?
Yeah, breaking news. I need a breaking news sound. I actually just heard that over the weekend as well. They are making a Tiger King 2. They actually haven't said if it's going to be about the same guy or if it's going to be somebody new. They just said they're making a new one. I thought that was cool.
I didn't even see the first one.
But this guy in Brooklyn, he had this tiger all the way up until he bit his brother. And his brother went to the hospital and tried to lie and say that a pit bull bit him. And they were like obvious not pit bull bites. They were giant bites. So they sent the cops over there to do a welfare check and found this giant tiger. Can you imagine, man, living with a friggin' tiger?
No.
I couldn't either. And last but not least, funeral services have been announced for the grandson of Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson. Now, we talked about Frank Quinton Jackson, who is the grandson. A couple times he's been in legal trouble before. I think we talked about it just a couple months ago where he was in trouble.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
But he was shot multiple times September 19th in the Anita Kennedy Avenue in Cleveland. It says that a wake is going to take place today, 10 this morning. It actually already happened then. But it said that it was ruled a homicide, and that's just crazy to me. I mean, it goes to show, like, really nobody's safe in that part of Cleveland anymore.
No.
It doesn't matter if you're the mayor's son. It doesn't matter if you're somebody rich and you have privilege. It's still dangerous. 100%.
And it shows that when you're walking somewhere, you probably shouldn't. I learned this lesson. You probably, if you're walking in like a crowd or something, for example, don't have both your headphones in.
Yeah, I mean, generally. I felt weird Friday going into Saturday morning when I had to walk back to my car because I was walking around downtown, and then like it goes into the flat where my parking was.
Right.
And yeah, just walking around at 5 in the morning, I felt a little freaked out. Man, be careful out there.
Yeah,
Everybody.
please be careful.
It's so sad to hear stuff like this, and especially now that I have this new granddaughter and I'm starting to see like things kind of a different way. I just want to say, people, be careful.
Yes.
Anyways,
I agree.
You be careful too, Josh.
You too, Jeremy.
We're going to listen to Cornine Smith do Troubled Minds, and then we're going to come back for our last segment of the show. Now, last segment of every show, we do the Kramer and Josh files. Go ahead and throw you in there.
Okay.
You're with me as well.
Yeah.
And today we are going to talk about chemtrails. This is one, Josh, you apparently said you didn't even have heard about it before.
No, I've never heard about that.
It's a wacky one. So
Okay.
make sure you hang around, and we will be
Right back.
if this plays. If it does not. And Josh.
Yes. I know, I teased you about that earlier, but it's okay.
So last week we talked about a missing persons case. This week I wanted to get back to more of a traditional conspiracy, though we might venture out again in the future.
I like that it's become more of just a conspiracy theory and bizarre story type of section.
It opens it up a little bit.
Exactly.
But for today, we're going to talk about chemtrails, which Josh said he didn't even know about this. And it's, the way I found out about like a lot of these was when I was in prison at night. I had my radio. It's one of the only things I had at night. And I would listen to AM talk radio. And
Right.
there's a guy called Art Bell who does a show called Coast to Coast AM that's all about conspiracy theories.
Ooh.
And this was one of the ones that they talked about quite a bit.
Oh, I want to listen to his show now.
But for a Wikipedia description, they say that the chemtrail conspiracy theory says the Iranian police, so basically saying already that it's all wrong, the long-lasting condensation trails coming from planes, so the white lines that come out from the back of planes,
Yeah, I know what those are.
that they supposedly have chemical or biological agents in them. The people who believe this say that they do it either to control the sun, for psychological manipulation, population control, which wouldn't make a lot of sense because our population's been going up like crazy, biological or chemical warfare, or testing of biological or chemical warfare. Now, of course, these claims have been dismissed by the entire scientific community, but like most of these, it doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything you just said.
So it goes back to like 1995 when, like most things, it popped up on the internet.
And like they always say, everything you read on the internet is 100% true. There's no need to argue.
Yeah, of course. But a couple guys started posting this stuff in like different chat rooms, and it blew up from there. And it never gets talked about in the mainstream media. You have to go to like different places like I was talking about to find it. But I'm looking through this, and there's a couple of different funny instances that I think help to show like the way people are when they fall or start to believe in a conspiracy theory. So there was this guy in 2007 where there was a television news report where they supposedly did an analysis of the air and found all these unsafe levels of barium. And that's one of the instances that people like to bring up and say, see, we have proof. Well, the problem is just a week later, they retested it, the government actually did, and found out that the equipment that was originally used was messed up and was wrong by a factor of 100, and the level of barium was completely normal and safe.
Well then,
In another instance, 2014, there was a video that went viral that showed a commercial airline supposedly shooting out chemicals. But Discovery News has since pointed out that if that's chemtrails, that would kind of be pointless because they're supposed to be secretive, first of all, and that what was actually shown was fog coming off of the wings. So you kind of get the theme here. Like, people will believe things, and then they just want it to be true, so they think it's true. But there's always some kind of explanation. One more. In October 2014, Englishman Chris Bovey filmed a video of a plane throwing fuel on a flight from Buenos Aires to London. And they admitted, yes, they had to dump fuel to lighten its load for an emergency landing. But because he said, oh, this was chemtrails, the clip went viral on Facebook with over 3 million views and 52,000 shares, cited as evidence of chemtrails. He later admitted that he did this as a prank. He knew that it was just gas coming out, and he did it as a prank. And now people hate him.
If I actually legitimately believed in that conspiracy theory, which I don't, I would hate him too.
Yeah, I guess I would too, the more you think about it. That is kind of a jerk move.
Yeah, that is a total jerk move, but
just in case I accidentally have anybody believing, though, it's kind of a last note. Do you know who Edward Snowden is?
That name sounds
real big in the news like 10 years ago,
yeah.
Or maybe even recent or where.
Yeah, the name sounds vaguely familiar.
But the guy, he was a CIA employee, and he broke into their computers and was like leaking out documents about, some of it was like torture that we used that was illegal, so it was the kind of important stuff, but he still got in trouble for leaking information.
Of course, naturally.
But he did an interview on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. And during it, he said, just in case you were wondering, chemtrails are not a thing. I read everything that the CIA had, and there was nothing in there about chemtrails.
The whole thing, based on what you're telling me, doesn't even make sense to start with. Like, that the jet streams or whatever they're actually called, like, coming off of planes, that they're going to be used to, like, change the environment, or that they're secret messages, like
basically that they're like putting chemicals in the air. So like the way people try to look at this is they'll say like, oh, the government's doing this in the ghetto, and like they'll kill black people by dropping chemicals over them, or they'll do it in other countries.
So basically, people are just doing this to try and get attention.
Yeah. A lot of people do really believe it, but it's like what with those other examples. They believe it because they see something they can't understand. So they come up with an explanation in their mind, and then no matter what science says, no matter what proof somebody has, they believe what they believe.
Yeah, some people are so hard-headed in their way of thinking that you can give them all the evidence you want, and you can give them all the facts you want, and all of this and that, and they're still going to say, nope, I don't care, I'm believing what I want, and you are not changing my mind.
Yes, sir. Well, that was for this week. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. I always say this, I never get anything, but if you want to kind of give us a suggestion, send us an email at flipview216@gmail.com.
Or you can message us on our Facebook page, Flipview with Kramer and Poison, because I'm the new Poison.
Yep, Josh Poison.
Yes.
And also, you want to go and check out our Facebook anyways if you haven't. Go like our Facebook page. You can get it with keywords FlipView216. But I think I just put a picture of Kyra Jane up there, didn't I? I thought I shared a picture. But if not, I will. And
I also made a post on there about if you could invent a holiday, what would that holiday be? If you could write your answer in the comment section below, and we will share the best answers on the show next week.
So you heard the man. Go to the Facebook page and answer the question for next week. And real quick before we go, I thought you asked earlier, what is your favorite holiday?
Okay, so go ahead.
So before we leave, I'm going to answer this.
Okay, go ahead.
My favorite holiday, I had to think about this hard, is Halloween. And there's a lot of good holidays. I chose Halloween because it's the day before my birthday.
So your birthday is November 1st?
Yep, which is actually All Saints Day. It's a Catholic holiday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty funny. But Halloween, and also because it's the first like real start of the fall, and fall is my favorite season.
That's funny. That's another thing you and I have in common then, because I love fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it.
So what's your favorite then? Is it Halloween?
No, Thanksgiving actually.
Oh, Thanksgiving guy.
Yeah.
You like that? Yeah, I wouldn't guess that from you because you're a skinny dude, but you like that Thanksgiving meal, huh?
Yeah, it's also that like my family every year we do a pick. Our family is so competitive when it comes to one sport in particular, ping pong.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. Personally, I'm more of an air hockey guy.
Yeah, I was never very good at ping pong.
So, yeah, I never really got into ping pong, but every year my family does a ping pong tournament. It's called the Turkey Bowl. My cousin Aaron usually wins it because he's like amazing at it. So.
Well, if you have your own favorite holiday, drop it in the comments or whatever. But I just thought that was, you know what I think. I also was kind of curious to see if you would say Christmas, because I feel like if anybody says Christmas, it's because they're selfish. Like, they just want to get stuff.
Okay, why would I?
Oh, I did not think that through, Josh. Oh my God, we've been talking for the past 3 weeks about all these Jewish holidays you've been celebrating. And
yeah, and then you say, oh, your favorite holiday is Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to do it. That was it for this week, and we will be back next week with more ridiculous questions.
That was fun.
Make sure to check out our YouTube. Mine is Kramer Radio and Productions. Hit there and subscribe. Josh, you just hit 400 subscribers.
Yes, I did.
So let's get some more for him as well. Unger to the max, right?
You got it.
And other than that, check us out tomorrow. Same station where we do, well, All Sports Cleveland part of it, but as we do our sports show. And we will see you
Next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Give it place.